MSU President Richard Biff Williams is facing a new lawsuit involving his former university in Utah. On Saturday, Williams sent an email to Missouri State students regarding the incident. That lawsuit was filed by 3 employees of the Utah Tech University Office of Equity and Compliance and Title IX. According to the lawsuit, in November last year, Williams put a display of assorted vegetables in the shape of male genitalia on the front porch of a university vice president who was recovering from surgery. Williams also left a get well soon note saying it was from the 3 plaintiffs who said they were not aware and did not give consent to be on the note. As a result, the plaintiffs say they faced backlash even though they were not involved. The lawsuit also involves other Title IX complaints and other discrimination and harassment complaints against 20 defendants who also work in university administration. Williams put out a statement saying in part, "This was a mistake. I regret my lapse in judgment, and I accept this as a learning moment. This experience continues to remind me how important it is to always strive to foster a campus environment that is safe and welcoming to all of the students, faculty, and staff."